Good morning, Abraham.
It is.
Yes. Something has bothered me for a very long time. Day after day, my mailbox is full of requests for sick people in the world, starving children everywhere, the misery of a very, very miserable world. I try to do the best I can, and I know it can't be much, but explain to me, I know you can, so I'm not going to say if you can. Explain to me how I can feel at peace with thinking the world is going to get better, and therefore it will be better. I don't know how to express it better than that.
Well, first we want to say to you, we are never suggesting that helping another and using action are inappropriate. But we are suggesting that if those pamphlets and requests bring you to a place of empathy or pain about the plight of others, and while you are still in that discomfort, you offer your assistance, whether it is your thought or your word or even your money, you don't add to the solution, you add to the problem. And we know that sounds odd. How can my money add to the problem? And it's the same thing that we were saying earlier, that this is an inclusion-based universe. When you are focusing upon what you want, you include it in your vibration. When you focus upon what you don't want, you include it in your vibration. There's a war against poverty, and a war against drugs, and a war against AIDS, and a war against cancer, and a war against teenage pregnancy, and a war against terrorism, and all of them are getting bigger because you cannot push hard enough against something to make it go away. So as you read those pamphlets and you feel that discord, you're in step one. In other words, you know what you don't want. You don't want children to starve. You don't want people to be uncomfortable. You don't want them to live in poverty. You don't want them to be uncomfortable. You don't want people to experience pain. You don't want that. You know what you don't want. And with every pamphlet you read, you launch your request to the universe for a world in which people can thrive and feel joy and be comfortable in their bodies and in their places. So the reading of that causes you to ask. And when you ask, and billions of other people are asking, or however many are reading the pamphlets or living the life, when you ask, and we got to tell you, people living the plights and the poverties and the discomfort are asking far enough on their own behalf. They're asking, and the universe is answering. So the question that you want to be asking is, if they are really hurting, they're asking for improvement. If they're really starving, they're asking for improvement. If they're asking and Source is answering, then why isn't it getting better? And the answer is because those who are in the midst of it, in other words, you know how the hardest time for you to think a thought of well-being is when you're living the opposite of it. When your body is throbbing in pain, our words fall on deaf ears as we say, try to think happy thoughts. When you are in discomfort, that's a very difficult time. So if there are people, and we know there are, if there are people who are really living that kind of despair, let's just, for the sake of this clarification, assume it's not true completely, but let's just assume that all of the people that you've been talking about are in that kind of discomfort. And so even though they're asking, because they've asked and been disallowing the response for so long, now they're really, really hurting. They're not just in emotional pain, they're in physical pain. So they can't find the feeling place of the improvement because the bad environment is so pervasive around them. But you could. You don't have to feel the horror of their current plight. Whenever you interact with anyone, whether it's someone in your neighborhood, someone in your family, or someone on the other side of the world because of a pamphlet that was delivered to your mailbox, whenever you have that relationship, you put them in your vibrational escrow. You are asking for their improvement. When you see this bony child with flies all over it, with tears running down its face, and your heart is gripped and your gut is wrenched. The reason your gut is wrenched is because you're looking at something that the source within you will not look at. Now, many would say, oh, come on. You got to be kidding. You mean source, all-powerful source, will not look at that painful child and try to help? Source will not look at that painful child because in looking at that child in pain, it cannot help. Source will look at what's been asked for over here in vibrational escrow. And when you do, you help too. Now the question that you've got to ask now is, well, if the child is asking and source is answering and the child still can't receive, then what good would my involvement do? Can I really wish for well-being so much on behalf of someone else that I can influence them? And we say, yes, you can. In other words, anytime you hold anything as your object of attention and you feel hopeful as you begin playing the wouldn't it be nice game, as you acknowledge that as you send whatever you send and you say, I want this to be of value, I want this money to be managed and delivered in a way that will be helpful, you can tell when you join the perspective of your source on this subject. And that was what you asked when you sat down. You said, what can I do? How can I feel good about what I'm doing? And the way you feel good about anything is by focusing upon or in the direction of the solution you seek. You see, what happened is when you read that pamphlet and thousands of others like it, you became something more. You and your perspective of society and your perspective of the way human life should be lived on this planet. Many feel the same thing about the animals that are being mistreated. As you put this into your vibrational escrow, you have become something different than you were before you were reading those pamphlets. But now as you go back and read the pamphlet, you tear yourself apart from the evolution that you have experienced. The reason that your physical world gets better and better and better and better, and it does, is because there was a time when more people were living in more discomfort than you are now. The percentage of people living in physical discomfort today is minuscule in comparison with what it once was, because more and more people have been asking about more and more things for a longer period of time. And then the resistant ones croak. And the new ones coming in come from a different vantage point. And the dilution ratio is getting better and better and better and better. With those like you who are hanging around, you're still physically here, and you're not waiting to have your death experience before you move up the emotional scale. You're doing it by deliberately feeling where the source within you resides on topic after topic after topic, and you're finding your way there. Source loves, and when you or anyone hates, you're vibrationally discordant. Source knows well-being, and when you or anyone else focuses on poverty, you are discordant from that which source is. And we know, oh, we can feel this is a lot for you to get your mind around. We would never, ever, 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 ever suggest that if there is someone in need and you're right there, that you don't do everything in your power to soothe them. As an uplifter, that's who you are. You are soothers. But if what you are seeing takes you out of your power, you have no basis from which to soothe. You have to maintain your alignment with Source in order to have any ability to soothe, you see. So, someone lying in their bed across the world, in a comfortable bed, with the fabric that is delicious against your skin, with the air controlled in your environment, and with food in your belly, and with a sense of well-being and security. Someone who feels like that can focus on that pamphlet and can feel the discomfort of that experience. And in that experience will launch a rocket of desire for an improved world for those people. And then, if you do anything less than turn your undivided attention to the new story of the improved life, you will pull yourself apart from that which this experience has caused you to become. There are a lot of people who benefit by fanning the flames of things gone wrong, because they have learned more people will respond or be motivated by attention to bad things than will be called or inspired by attention to good things. They know that if the world were to hear our message, their donations would dry up. And we're here to tell you that if the world were to hear our message, poverty would cease to be. If the world were understanding the autonomous, self-sufficient alignment with source, sickness could not be. If you've got discord within you, which means you're thinking a thought that's contrary to who you really are, and you don't recognize it and do something about changing the thought, don't worry, it will get bigger. Because law of attraction is responding to both aspects of what you are. Law of attraction is causing who you really are to become more, and law of attraction is causing who you're being in this moment to become more. And as those vibrational stakes get higher, you feel stronger and stronger response. When you are in alignment with who you really are, you thrive in new ways. When you're out of alignment with who you really are, you suffer in bigger ways. This is a time of faster moving energy than ever before. The rich are richer, and the poor are poorer, and the well are weller, and the sick are sicker. It's just the way it is. In these times, with this fast moving energy, a little bit of resistance goes a long, 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 long way. So that is the law of attraction, law-based explanation to what you're asking for. Now, on a more physical basis, we would like to say to you that the majority of the pictures that you're receiving today are not about people and their life today. Those pictures are old, they're not current, they are the best pictures that they've found. There are actually committees that are researching to discover what pictures get to you more. What pictures get to you more, and those are the pictures that are sent to you because they're wanting to evoke from you, they're wanting to motivate you to action. We are not for a moment suggesting that they are wrong. We want all of you to do everything that you can to help everyone. We're just saying that when you offer money to try to compensate for vibration that's out of whack, there's not enough money in the world to compensate for vibration that's out of whack. The hospitals are filled to the brim with people who are trying to take action to compensate for vibrational discord. It's the vibration that must be changed. It's an understanding that must be changed. And anyone who's ever worked for the Peace Corps or for any organization where they've gone in and tried to change the living standards of others find that it changes very, very slowly because it will not change until beliefs change. The minute they withdraw their emphasis of support or power from those environments, they move back to what they were before. And the reason is because you can't fix it with action. It can only be fixed with solution. And the solution is all about alignment, you say. Helpful?
Very.
More important? Do you feel better?
Yes,
so
considerably.
So when you write your check, and you will, and we want you to, when you write your check, no matter how much it is for,
I will remember you.
You write the check and you submit it, you drop it in the mailbox and you say, with this money, I send my wishes and expectation for improvement for someone along the way. And then be done with it. And don't go back to the question again and again and again and again and again and again and again. That's what we were talking about at the beginning. If you keep asking the question, you hold yourself apart from the solution, you see. Good.
Thank you, Ariane.
Yes, indeed.